Hey, Strummer Dundee here, and today we're doing a booksploration into a book called Dragonology. So, Dragonology is a really unique book. It is a book I had when I was very young, and it is mostly about different types of dragons and dragon lore. It's a unique book, very design heavy as you see here, and it was done by Candlewick Press. They did several of these facsimile books, and they're actually made to look like real artifacts found by somebody. In this case, this is supposed to look like a journal from, I believe, Dr. Ernest Drake, who supposedly studied dragons. So in the front cover here, there's actually Dr. Drake's passport kind of photo down there. So you can see that it looks like he's a real guy with a real library card. And there are often a lot of envelopes inside these books that you can open up, and they have little stickers that keep them closed. So this one, as I'm opening it up, is a letter to future people who would like to study dragons and explore dragons from Ernest Drake himself. Sometimes these letters are letters to the publisher or letters of how they want their book to be presented, of course, by these fictional people. But I just think it's really cool. They really go all out with the water marbling inside the little envelope. Also, I'm going to have a couple tips on how to keep these books safe. As you can see, I was struggling to get that paper in. A lot of these things are very tightly glued in here. So it says Dr. Ernest Drake's Dragonology, the complete book of dragons, and you'll often see these fancy seals from the Society of Dragons. So the next page you get to see the foreword for chapter 1, and there are a lot of gorgeous pictures in here. I really like the almost watercolor and colored pencil quality of the photos. So you have Ernest Drake there taking notes by a huge dragon. And a lot of the text formatting really reminds me of the sort of Harry Potter movie style of publications where you have very unique little text boxes and all this scroll work that goes kind of back and forth as well. So on this next page we have a big map, and this is the first kind of folding part you can see. Also has some fake ads down here, like for the famous Draco dragon whistle. So you can fold a lot of things out. So this is showing different places where they have found evidence of dragons, supposedly. And this beautiful sort of watercolor style map again on the inside for dragons of the world, showing where different types of dragons live in different countries. And on the other side we have some more symbols and this kind of fold out map and some more fake ads. And some nice kind of sketches on the inside of different buildings and environments where one could find dragons. Always make sure if you get a book like this that you're carefully folding things back in before you turn the pages. Otherwise, things definitely can get bent or stuck, especially with small children. So for chapter 2, we're going into the different species of dragons, and this has some more cool artifacts, like the kind of dragon skin samples that they have in here. They're very textured, and it feels like they're almost underneath a little thin slide for a microscope. We have some more sketches and some more info on European dragons, and I really love these illustrations that go kind of all the way across the page. So you can see dragons of different environments, kind of frost or ice dragons, and then more standard dragons as well. On this page we're going into more species of dragons from the eastern part of the world. So these are going to be very mostly Chinese style dragons, or dragons without wings. And again, you have another great kind of sample there of different types of dragon skin, very iridescent. And it's really cool how they managed to put those in there without having them catch on the pages or anything. And then a nice big picture of a dragon on the next page. So here are some more species, and they show them in flights. Various types of dragons. These are mostly winged dragons with not very many limbs or claws. So they show a little size of the map there, and this huge dragon that goes all the way across the page and looks very bird-like. And then this sample is almost kind of papery, almost like a origami paper, but more textured and tissue-like, to be a different sample of dragon skin. So this is a more complex page with all the foldables and extra stuff. This is going into the anatomy of dragons. I always loved kind of anatomy style books as a kid that showed you how things work. So this is showing how dragons actually breathe fire. So it explains with this kind of flint mechanism inside that it sort of sparks the fire, and that's how it works. And they don't waste any space. You have an explanation on the inside page, and then on the other side you have the inside of the skull shown with the fire coming out of the mouth. Then it goes into an explanation of claws and wing tips, and then on the other side the complete body system of a potential dragon. So on the outside you can see the little label down at the bottom that says skin, and then you go into the muscle structure, again with an explanation on the other page. And if you go for one more tab on the inside, you get the bones and what each bone is called. I always thought this was really cool. It makes it seem like dragons could be very real. And again, as with the maps, make sure everything's super folded down before you go to the next page. Otherwise, it can definitely get crumpled. So in this page, we have some more biology, this time about the natural history of dragons and how they hatch, how we get baby dragons and lifestyle. So this is inside their eggs. You have some kind of biology egg sketches on one side, and then you can actually go into the life cycle of the eggs. So you have a little tiny baby dragon in the eggs at 3 months. Seems to me this is largely based off of maybe crocodile eggs or something like that, the way it looks, but it's still really cool, especially to imagine dragon eggs looking like this with the huge blue spots. So you have one just about to be born, and then once it is born. So this one has this cool theory that they have these spikes on their noses to help them get out of their actual egg. And then the difference between male and female dragons on the inside. So this one has a gorgeous picture, kind of two dragons having a bit of an argument. Maybe it's going to be a fight at some point. And the spread is all about dragon behavior. And of course it's going to touch on hoarding, since we see these dragons fighting over what appears to be a big hoard of gems. So it looks at some historical examples, some gems they might hoard, and then actually a dragon alphabet about how dragons communicate. So this is going into more dragon lore of dragons interacting with humans and how they speak and how they sometimes trick people out of their money or other valuables. So on this next page you do have more illustrations, more so of tracking dragons in this case and finding them in their habitat. So you have the dragon habitat there with the cave, and then the explorer hiding behind a rock on the outside. There's some nice sketches of different dragon tracks, which was really cool. I had a whole different dragon book just about how to track dragons, how to interact with them when you first meet them. And then there's this cool example record book. It's just really pasted right on. You're supposed to put your little observations on there. So there's some fake handwriting and to show, where they were, what they observed, what type of dragon was it, and things like that. And again, make sure it's folded up before you turn the page, otherwise it definitely will get crumpled. So a huge picture here of a dragon in flight and someone actually riding on it. So this page starts talking about humans and dragons interacting and working together. You don't always have to be fighting them or sneaking up on them. And it actually has another pasted in book of riddles and puzzles, because dragons are known to occasionally riddle the humans they meet and provide puzzles. So there's a few examples of the riddles they might ask humans to try to trick them, or that you can answer to win them over. And then there's some answers on the back as well. On the next page, we get into some dragon alchemy. So this is taking a look at the different ingredients that dragons can provide for potion making and magic. Beautiful illustrations down at the bottom, an explanation of all the different parts. We even have some dragon dust, which is just glitter and some plastic, but it looks really cool. It's nice that you can kind of touch it and move it around as well. On the other side, they have the same sample of dragon dust that goes through both pages and talks about more useful spells and charms that you can use associated with dragons or the things dragons can give you, including a spell to make yourself go invisible. On this page, it's talking about more rune work and has another little envelope in there sealed up and a warning about the dangers of dragon magic. This envelope in particular says to keep the rune spell below safe, so I'm going to keep that closed for now. On this page, we get a little bit of history, some of it recognizable or quote-unquote real history, and some of it kind of embellishes for this text, but it's nice to see examples of people that you've seen before and heard of before incorporated into this facsimile book, including Beowulf. And then here's the last page. Huge, gorgeous picture of a dragon here with the dragon's eye, which is this big reflective kind of marble that's inset into the back of the book itself. And then we have some afterwards, last bit of information from Dr. Ernest Drake himself. And it recommends kind of finding your purpose by seeing the reflection in the dragon's eye. I don't know. Can you see it? See your future in there? Hard for me to tell because I was filming. And then in the back, some last words of wisdom. Diligent studies of wise men. That was our booksploration for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. We will do more in the future. Until then, I'll see you in another video. Bye.